And we are live. Hello and welcome to Fermenting Opinions. I'm your host, David Papiden.
I'm your co-host, James McVeigh.
And we are Fermenting Opinions, the podcast and Google Hangout in search of a more palatable political ferment. This is November 13th, 2018. And this is the Post-Midterm Hangover Hangout. We did a live cast a week ago today. And we did live election results for everything going on in the midterms, and we were a little bit limited in our sort of information stream of knowledge.
Sure.
That most of what we got was just what was happening in Tennessee, and like during the whole live cast, we're like, well, what's going on in other states? What's going on? Because like Tennessee super red, we kind of anticipated more or less what was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be as severe as it ended up being, but like wasn't really sure.
And our results were a little slow at first, so the podcast is a little slow.
Right. Yeah.
We were joined by other people. We talked about other things later, but
yeah. But we're tonight. By the way, we're joined by Chris, Haley, and Jason. Thank you for joining us. They're all muted currently, but thank you guys for being here. And we're just going to talk about sort of like what's the bigger picture rather than just Tennessee. We're going to talk about what happened in Tennessee, of course, but let's talk about the bigger picture. My understanding is, to date, there's a potential of up to 36 seats in the House that
have been flipped to go blue.
That will be flipped blue. I think the confirmed count right now is somewhere around 26 or 27.
We do know that Democrats hold majority in the House of Representatives on the U.S. level, definitely.
I guess that's a significant thing, in like what that means.
Yeah.
But let's first talk about like basically where we are, and give a little recap of Tennessee first. In Tennessee, you guys know, anyone who listens to the podcast, we interviewed several candidates. Most of them are left-leaning. Most of them are running as Democrats.
Yeah.
Every one of those people lost, unfortunately. But we kind of knew what it was for some of those races, and for others, we weren't really sure. And it's hard to get metrics on like super local level races. We held out a lot of hope. We were disappointed. I was disappointed anyway.
I think everybody that I voted for on the local level lost. So I guess I felt some disappointment there too. Yeah. I will congratulate all of our guests though for running good campaigns.
Absolutely.
and really getting out there. And they were the ones knocking doors, making noise, being seen, and running clean campaigns too. And that was impressive to me. I mean, that was the thing that actually stuck with me, was that, you know, we separated partisan politics, and we had people on this show. You know, maybe I gave them a little bit of hell, but it wasn't so bad.
Well, and pushback is important because, I mean, we're in a super red area, right?
Yeah.
If you're the sort of the representative voice of the right on the show. If people are going to have criticisms of left-leaning candidates, like, you're in a better position to know what that is probably than anybody.
Yeah.
Right. So like, if they can handle you, they're in good shape. Right.
Yeah.
I'll say it that way. But yeah, so they need to hear those things. And I think really among any of them, AJ Holmes, who I can't remember the total vote count, but he lost like
about
almost 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1. I'd say it was
somewhere around there. Not a super high count overall, because I mean it's basically Murray County.
But he did well for himself for what is
he did well for himself.
25 or so.
25-year-old, first time running for any office versus basically a veteran local politician.
Yeah.
Who's got an R next to his name.
Well, he was the chairman of the local Republican Party.
Yeah.
You know, he was kind of running things.
Right.
So it was an impressive show out.
So given all of that, yes, definitely.
And for the most part, I like the campaign that he ran. Like, AJ's a great guy. I loved having him on the show, and we definitely wish him luck in the future. I mean,
yeah, there was a thought I had about AJ, and I think AJ's a great guy, and whether or not he listens to this, like, I saw this race as a tough race. It was going to be a stretch to see if he could really come across the aisles, and you can't not come across the aisles in this district and expect to win.
Oh, not at all.
As a Democrat, anyway. And he was doing that consistently.
I think so.
And I've seen a lot of his Facebook campaign is basically testimony after testimony of people who voted Republican, people who voted for Trump, people who are on the right generally saying, you know, I like your message and I hear what you're saying and you sound like you're here to represent all of us rather than just pandering to a base. He did that masterfully.
Exactly. And I think that was really impressive to me. Like he did a great job of, I mean, he was giving out his personal cell phone number.
I know, right? And doesn't that sound crazy in 2018?
Yeah, you've lost your damn mind.
If I gave out my like where I live or my address to anybody, considering the fact that sometimes I say things that piss people off, like
fair,
that's a little bit risky, right? But like, and he had people who were like dedicated trolls of his campaign.
Oh, of course.
Like,
of course, they were on the same side on Sapicki's end too. I mean, you had people just showing up to talk shit on Sapicki's page,
but they got deleted and banned.
Of course they did. Yeah, no, but and that's what I was saying, is I like the fact that AJ kept his trolls around and engaged them and talked to them and said, well, okay, I'm going to be serious.
Civilly, and that was the thing. And I don't want to harp too much on it because it's just a local race and, you know, not everyone's going to necessarily care. But like, one of the things he kept saying, that someone would come on his page and be like, I'm not going to vote for you because of XYZ. He's like, that's cool. I respect your right. Here, I still want to hear you. If I win, I still want to hear your voice. I want to hear what you have to say to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm interested in your opinion. And did not see that.
And to me, that's the most important thing you can do.
And to me, that's everything.
Yeah. Especially for local politics, that's definitely where it's at. You have to represent your constituents. You have to listen to what they have to say.
All of them. Yeah. And that's been a thing that I've been on for I don't know how long. It's funny, before we came on air, we were talking about Donna Cook, who was a county commissioner.
She was.
District 1 or 2 in Murray County. I can't remember which. Anyway, she lost her reelection bid during the primaries. That's when we elected our commissioners. And she was out, but she has been basically on record on her Facebook page saying really ugly, derisive things about people who are not in her political camp.
Racist, xenophobic. I mean,
all of that stuff. Yeah, you know, and again, not to go too far into it, but like she made it really, really clear she wasn't interested in hearing all of her constituents just in her district or the county. She didn't care. She was trying to pander, essentially.
And that cost her an election.
I won't claim any credit in any of that, but I'm glad she's gone. I wrote an op-ed in the, I don't know if you remember this, it was a couple of years ago now.
Oh, I do.
Basically quoting her verbatim, calling people libtards and snowflakes and stuff like that. This is a person who's supposed to represent the community.
I think that's right around the time that we started Fermenting Opinions.
That is pretty much right around the same time.
Because I remember talking about that with you and just being like, good job.
I can't believe the Herald posted that, or published that. I enjoyed that they did. I sure did.
You aren't the only one, my friend.
But anyway, it wasn't my words. I was just quoting her. Like I said, verbatim. But anyway, so AJ, I think he's going to have a career. I think he could be a great politician. I don't know if he can be a great politician here in this time, in this political environment. That makes me a little bit sad because I think he can really do the job. I wasn't necessarily convinced the first time I met him, but he grew on me.
Oh, well, I think you should keep fighting. I mean, even if it's on a commissioner level or something else. I would
love to see him again in some capacity. I think it'd be great, and I think it'd be great even if it was a doomed campaign logistically, or not logistically, but demographically, a doomed campaign essentially. We can't act like we don't exist. We can't, not just Democrats, but left-leaning people who have a diversity of thought, generally speaking, like we want our voices heard too. And if nothing else, it shows there is a diversity of opinion in Murray County.
And I think that's a good thing. Yeah. And I mean, I like the fact that he brought that and that he tried. I mean, he did a damn good job.
Absolutely.
And he kept it clean. He did his best. That was impressive to me.
He did. Yeah, he did well with that. So that's AJ. We had Mariah Phillips. We had her on twice, I believe.
Yeah.
She lost to Scott Desjardins,
which he's been a staple here for a while, and that was pretty predictable just given the R next to his name. But again, Mariah ran a good, clean campaign, and she joined us, I believe, twice, if not 3 times.
I believe it was twice, yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for Mariah. I like the fact that she got out there and did it. You know, that was great.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know, you're going up, basically, you're climbing a mountain if you're trying to summit against Republicans in Murray County.
And that's all I can say is it's not about, I mean, obviously it's about winning and you did, but if you can't, what can you get as a concession prize, right? The fact that there's a voice and there's there's a base that has been rallied.
And one of these days, hopefully, we'll have a good Republican challenger who will actually debate and show up and explain.
Man, that really does kill me.
Yeah.
Sapicki, it took like arm twisting to get him to debate AJ. And as far as I know, both Scott Descharlet in District 4 and
Dr. Green,
Mark Green in District 7, who did beat Justin Canoe handily, also a guest on the show, that both of them basically duck debates the whole time because they know strategically it's their race to lose, right?
Exactly.
So why expose yourself? But at the same time, you're showing that you're just consistently disinterested in listening to anybody who isn't just going to yes man your position, and that's a disgrace to discourse. I think it's a disgrace to representation.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, isn't that kind of the point of getting out there and getting to know your constituents and explaining why that other guy is not who you
and these folks and they don't have to. They can win without caring, and that's what we saw.
Yeah,
and it's extremely disappointing. I know a lot of people in Tennessee, a lot of liberals, Democrats, what have you.
Well, even coming from the Republican side, where I'm over here like, hey, look, a guaranteed victory. I still find that a little disappointing because I would like a chance to at least have a town hall or something where I can challenge the people that represent me, even if I'm probably going to end up voting for him anyway or something like that. Like I would still like the chance to get up and say, hey, these are my thoughts.
But of course, we're also about a discussion of ideas and trying to meet people somewhere in the middle. Like that's not how you win, but like it is better. I think
it's the way to do this.
Yeah. I think
the democratic process on a purely democratic level.
Discourse. Sure. But yeah, so we Mariah lost, Justin Canoe lost, which is really interesting. Hang on a second. Such is the power of gerrymandering. We've got Jason. He's quiet. He's muted, but he's basically talking about gerrymandering. That certainly has an effect in a lot of these areas.
Yeah, I was talking to the missus.
Oh, that's okay. Go ahead there, Jason. What are you going to say?
I was basically saying, such is the power of gerrymandering. I mean, you really don't have to debate. You really don't have to show up. You really don't have to campaign. You really ain't got to do shit if you're the group in power, because you're in.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how they played it.
And they did. And I mean, that's a winning strategy, and congratulations, but it's still disappointing. I mean, I get from the campaign manager aspect of why you would do that, because when you can win it, it's your race to lose. Why would you go out there and let some young Democrat or something beat the living piss out of you in a debate, make you look stupid, and risk losing when you can just rely on the R next to you?
And the few exchanges, to bring this back to AJ again, the few exchanges between him and Sapicki, like I think AJ acquitted himself really well versus Sapicki, who's repeating basically sort of party line rhetoric.
Sure. Yeah.
And it doesn't hold up all that well. And I think when I watched it, I was a little bit critical because like AJ, he could have gone harder against him, and like maybe that would have made a difference. I don't know, but he's so positive, right? That's not really his way.
And I appreciate that about him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll lay it out there. I voted for AJ, and that's why I voted for him. I mean, and no offense to Scott, and I would like to say congratulations to Scott on winning, but he just didn't do it for me. There was something about him that I really thought was unique or interesting, or anything that changed from Sheila Butt, who I did not support either.
Right.
Basically seemed like a continuation of Sheila. I didn't like how he even got the nomination. Like I didn't like his setup of the way they handled the primaries for the Republican Party and what they did.
Well, I think we interviewed his primary challenger, Michael Fulbright, who
again, a guy who ran a clean campaign and
and I think importantly, there's a lot of things that I disagreed with him on. But it's still at the end of the day, I was like, this is a person who will at least talk to me and wants to hear what I have to say. If he's going to represent me, he's actually interested in that diversity of opinion that was just completely devoid,
Well, and I can't even say that about Scott because I don't know. I mean, he never reached out to anybody or really engaged in anybody who had a difference of opinion. And
for political junkies like us, it also kind of makes it boring.
Tell me about it. Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I would love nothing more than to have conservatives on here and let David be the one giving the pushback and, letting me go to bat.
The genesis of Fermenting Opinions is like, that's sort of the idea, is that we were hoping to see more right-leaning candidates, but like, I think that's one of the things that we hit in this election cycle is that most of the Republicans figured themselves as presumptive winners and decided they had more to lose than to win by coming on and talking to us, and not because David's the big bad scary wolf of liberalism or whatever the hell.
I mean, I keep your ass in check. What's so hard about it?
You really do.
What's so hard about this? We got to make this seem.
Let's talk about originals.
Sure.
I won't do it to you, Haley. I won't. But the idea. Well, no. Fulbright came on. I gave my opinion where I gave it, and it was still a respectful conversation. That's the idea.
Yeah.
But they're afraid of looking bad somehow. I don't know, but maybe moving forward, we're going to see a little bit of change in that. We've actually been sort of in contact with a couple of more right-leaning people who have won, and that may be the future of interviews on this podcast. So stay tuned for that, guys.
That's definitely the direction we want to go. Is we're trying to expand a little bit more in that way, and that's kind of the question I've gotten about our podcast and our hangouts and everything. Is what are we going to do now that the election cycle's over? Because we've only been around since the 2018 election cycle or so.
We started. I don't know if that was
probably
about a year and a half we've been running.
I'd say a couple of months.
We started it in April of 2017, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, y'all.
So we've got our record.
Come on, at least know the facts of this. Come on.
I said year and a half. That's
actually pretty accurate. Yeah.
So,
I really wish I would have waited for James to guess because I just know how wrong it was going to be.
you just want to catch him out.
First of all,
wait, I have a question. So, hold on. I have a question. So,
yes.
On y'all's local level, y'all primarily went Republican for pretty much all of your positions that were up for grabs.
All of everything.
Pretty much all. I mean, Chaz tries not to. Chaz tries not to identify himself as a Democrat, but Chaz is a fucking Democrat.
So Chaz Mulder and Kristen Martin are both, I would say, probably left-leaning people. That is our new mayor and reelected vice mayor of Columbia.
Yeah,
basically, which is the city.
I'm actually glad Chaz got it though. I like Chaz.
I like Chaz.
Sorry, when I say Chaz is a fucking Democrat, I didn't mean it to sound bad, but I do like Chaz.
Chaz seems like a decent dude running against Dean Dickey?
I think so.
Who's probably somewhere around 1,200 to 1,400 years old.
I think he did not. Okay, to clarify, he did not witness the execution of Christ.
I mean,
but he was there for the foundation of the Church of Rome.
I was just gonna say, he sat behind Ra's al Ghul in the third grade. So,
pretty sure that's accurate. Yeah.
I want to start this club called Legal Assassins.
And former Mayor Dickey. No.
Yeah, there you go. No, I don't really know that guy. But anyway, so that was pretty much it. I do know Kristen Martin. I've worked with her actually for a number of years now. She's a fantastic person and a great advocate for individuals with disabilities. So I'm really happy that she was able to retain her spot because I think she's really good for Columbia.
Before we started, you had said that your judges were starting to run with party designations?
Yes. So, and this was something I was talking about. This is when I started volunteering around here after I moved back from New Orleans. In 2014, I believe the election cycle was the first time that we had a district attorney run with a party designation. Everyone usually runs as an independent as far as the judiciary and the judicial system goes. Almost all of our circuit judges, all of our elected circuit judges right now are and always have been independents. They run with an I next to their name. They don't accept money from anybody. They do their own thing. In 2014, we had somebody run as a Republican, but he ran against probably one of the most popular circuit judges to ever hold the bench in this area, Jim T. Hamilton. He lost, and then Jim T. decided he was going to retire 3 weeks later after he won the election.
We in Texas, we still have. Sorry, I have some feedback whenever I'm talking. I don't know what's going on.
No, you're okay on our
end. We can hear you. Yeah, you're fine. Hopefully that won't make it to the recording.
Yeah. I can still hear it on my end, but with us, we of course had the sexy Beto versus the blob that is Ted Cruz thing, and I mean all of our major elections we still went very red. Attorney General, the indicted Ken Paxton. He won. And so, but on the local level, almost all of the judges, I would say the majority of the judges who ran and they ran with an R behind their name in Harris County, lost. And we had, for example, one of our, he's been working in like a 30 to 40 year legal career veteran. He's been on the bench for 20 years, but he was an excellent judge. Ed Emmett, he's a very good judge here. He's been made national headlines sometimes, but he's a very good judge, and he was ousted by a 27-year-old Democrat who has never worked in litigation. And the moment that I heard that, I was like, right. "Oh my fuck!" Because I mean, I have cases in front of a lot of these judges, and you know, we lost a lot of very good judges. So it and. You know, I get that people do these straight. I hate that our judges are elected. I hate that they all have to pick parties. And I mean, one of our clients is a Texas Supreme Court judge for that. And I mean, he's a Republican. He's a great judge, but. And he got reelected, but I just hate that our judges are even elected and that they have to choose a party designation here.
Man, I am so sorry. I just
obviously you're not, because you're just heckling in the corner.
I'm so sorry. I'm laughing, but no, that's horrible. That's really horrible, and I completely.
I mean, I'm trying to have a debate. Tell you about this.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No. I am on your side entirely, because that's just trash, and I hate the fact that we have to involve party politics into the judiciary ever. I mean, I know it's going to happen for Supreme Court justices, and we've made it more and more prevalent since George W. Bush or so sent the bench. But man.
But this is state court.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, and what I was laughing about, and I apologize ahead of time to the Texas appellate courts, but RIP your docket, fam. I feel really bad for you when a 27-year-old who has no litigation experience is now your trial judge. Jesus, man.
In one of the like hundreds of thousands of district courts in Texas, yes.
Oh man, still, someone's racking up for that.
I'm sick of seeing unqualified people being appointed to judgeships based on political affiliation rather than, you know, competence.
And I mean, it's frustrating, because I guarantee that a good majority of the voters were just straight party tickets, and you know, they don't realize that like some of the people who actually have the biggest impact on your life whenever it comes to the government are your local judges, your local people who are running things. And you know, I get that everyone in Harris County really loved Beto and everything, but you know, we lost some very good judges.
It's not an excuse to vote straight Democrat down the ticket when you have.
But people, you know.
I know they do. Oh, I know. And I mean, I get the useful idiot, and I know how they work, but that really.
And I mean, it's not even that. Like one of the partners at my law firm, her husband, he doesn't vote in midterms, like he never has, and that was just a thing. But his wife, you know, was just like, you got to do it. You have to do it. And so he did. And then whenever he got home, he was like, and I just voted straight Democrat for everything. And she was like, no.
Oh, yeah. She was like, face palm. You didn't listen to the other half of the conversation. Damn it. Why are we still married?
Yeah. Like,
voted their rage.
Yeah, right.
Like one of our like close professional friends, like former client, and everything was a Republican on the ticket. Like, come on.
Yeah,
who's a great guy and a great judge.
Yeah, so again, I'm sorry for laughing there. I mean, you know, like honestly, that's a really sad.
We're laughing because it's bad. No, I understand that.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I think that's an important nuance to demonstrate.
District court and like
just because we want to see a blue wave doesn't mean you vote for unqualified people. Just because the actual qualified people who are not, you know, politically, you know, provocative in their judgeships.
I mean, you guys know me, but there's still like 95% of my judges lean right that I agree with and I like. Like, I mean, it has.
And I voted for right-leaning judges.
And it has nothing to do with the office.
Because I think they're good judges. I mean, it doesn't really
how much do you know the law and how fair are you about things? Like, that's what I care about. Are you making equitable decisions based on the law?
Yeah, and I tend to like more conservative leaning judges, but that's just because of I'm a corporate defense attorney. We tend to like conservative judges. We like people who like business.
Yes, Haley, vote against your interests more. No, but seriously, I really hate hearing that. That sucks.
I mean, that's a pure.
If we wanted to talk on something that I'm sure you don't practice in, but I know you and I have discussed, was that that juvenile court justice, the Republican who got ousted, who just went ham in Harris County and was just like, well, it's the day after the election and I didn't win, but clearly the Democrats want all these hooligans to go free.
Oh,
so
I saw
he
that.
grants bail, like non-strenuous bail terms to pretty much all these juveniles who half of them are felons wanted for like armed robbery and things that are violent crimes, grants them all bail to get them out of detention.
I don't think he'd let out like true violent people, because if
he did.
He'd be up for like being for like ethical violations.
That was what I was reading, is that there are already people filing things. There was only one person who had a violent crime in that courtroom that day he didn't let out of detention. It was just one, but the rest of the docket, and he even said something like ridiculous.
Hold on.
I'm holding something. Something sounds grindy.
Yeah, something's.
Do you really need a Snickers right now? Is that what's going on?
Okay, Joe Pesci.
No, but what? So what I was talking about though is he lets all these people out and says something along the lines of, this is what the Democratic voters wanted, so I'm going to give the Democrats what they want. Something along those lines. And then he sets the next docket date for all of them to be his replacement's first day on the bench.
Yeah,
that's like the pettiest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Super petty.
I kind of love it on some level. No, it's terrible. I mean, it's really terrible.
It's really bad. But you can appreciate the humor.
But something evil and ironic in me is just like.
I think if anything, it just represents that like a lot of people were very angry. A lot of people who work in the judicial system in Harris County were not happy with the election results.
And I don't blame them. I mean, that's really sad. I hate that, like you were saying, I hate that we have to involve party politics into judiciary decisions. And I hate that Murray County finally took that mantle up in 2014. I don't know what's going to happen with the next DA race. I know for a fact no one's going to claim the Democratic ticket, so they're not going to get the money that Brent Cooper is going to get. So whoever's running against him, I don't think Brent's a bad DA at all. And we disagree about a few archaic policies because he's an old school Republican, but otherwise, no, I think he does a great job of representing us. It's just no one stands a chance. And we're going to do the old guard thing again.
Yeah. Because that's what always works, especially.
Well, I mean, before him, there was Mike Bottoms, and Mike Bottoms was DA forever, way back into when Jesus was still alive. I mean, we're going to talk about that kind of thing. Mike Bottoms was DA for, I think, over 30 years. I might be wrong, but he was DA for a long time. Brent came up under him. Brent was a very experienced prosecutor. He was running against Chaz, who took our mayor's spot.
Yeah.
And I had to decide who I was going to back, and I was like, well, I'm going to back Brent because hell, he knows what he's doing. Was that
the campaign where you broke bad with Handers over?
Yeah, because Handers.
We're not going to get into that. The former Democratic Party chairman
has a hard on against our DA, and that's fine. I don't know what his real complaint is because again, I think Brent does a damn good job of being DA. Don't get me wrong, but I hate the fact that he's party backed. I mean that sucks.
That. I mean, we should move on from here because I don't want to go into that, but it is a conundrum about how we get our judges, right?
Or
do we elect our judges because then it's political, or do we let our elected officials, which is political, appoint the judges? And it's still political. There's really not a good way.
It's also our prosecutors. I mean, I'm talking about prosecutors.
I mean, you could always do something with the bar association or something. Like last night, there was a like charity event that Matthias and I went to, and Matthias and this judge both have really good beards, and they go to the same kolache place, and they've like become friends now. It's Judge Mike. Oh, sorry, I'm sitting on the back porch and there's a plane flying over. Sorry. And so Matthias saw Judge Mike, who I would never call him Judge Mike, but I think Judge Mike likes that Matthias calls him that. He saw him, so he went over to the beard judge to go bro bond and everything. And I was talking to some other Baylor lawyers who I know are all very conservative, older. I went to Baylor, but they're all like Baylor tends to conservative people.
Right. Yep.
And I was like, oh, yeah. And they were like, oh, yeah, that's Judge Englehart. Like, he's a great judge. And then one of them was like, did he survive the election? And I got to make a joke because I was like, oh, he's a Democrat. And then we all laugh. But I was just thinking, all of them were like, that guy's a great judge. Oh, wait. Did he survive before I go talk to him? And I was like, you could tell him congratulations because he's a Democrat. And they're like, yes. And because they don't care. He's a good judge.
Everyone in our profession pretty much recognizes that. Like, we just had a local judge around here, Bob Jones, retire. And I really respect Bob Jones a lot. We've got some disagreements with him on the way he conducts certain things. And if you know me, you can hear about my story about the time I had to object to a judge instead of, opposite counsel. And it scared the living piss out of me. But that was Judge Jones. I had to object to his questioning a witness because he was questioning my witness when I was prosecuting. And I was like, I don't want to explore that avenue. Why is the judge questioning my witness at trial? I was like, I object to this, And Judge Jones looks at me and he's like, sustained. I'm just like, oh, shit. But no, Judge Jones is one of the most brilliant people I know on the judiciary. But he just retired. And so we're getting another appointed judge, and we don't know if Haslam gets to appoint him or if Billy's going to appoint him. We don't even know where that's at yet. But it's another circuit judge down that.
And normally lame ducks stack it up before they leave. So
he wasn't up for re-election for another 4 years, but it was time for him to retire. He wanted to retire, and I get where he's coming from. He'd been at it for a while, but he's one of the guys who is obviously conservative. It's not even a question if you know him at all. I mean, he's very conservative, but he always ran independent and never took money from anyone and didn't run any kind of attack ads or anything like that. And he always won because everybody knew he was a damn good judge. If anybody asked their lawyer friends in the area, it's a small community. People would ask their lawyer friends, like, who should I vote for? We'd all tell you, oh, yeah, Bob Jones, definitely. Great judge. Smart, sharp, on the law. You don't worry about pop. I mean, I've never seen him do anything partisan or anything that would ever require his recusal. I can't even imagine Bob Jones recusing himself from something.
I mean, I don't know the guy, obviously, but like, that's kind of what I think we all want. Like, we don't want someone who's going to, especially a judge, to like run on a platform of like virtue signaling anybody politically.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that shit. I just want someone who's going to be a good judge.
Well, I mean, that goes back to the Kavanaugh hearings. I don't want to go break back into that again, but that's me with Kavanaugh. Is I didn't know about the sexual assault stuff. I believe that or not. My issue is the way he conducted himself during those hearings.
Right. Yeah. Whether or not
you are not partial. You're accusing you're basically making the deep state Hillary Clinton Pizzagate allegations and shit. Like, you should not sit the federal judiciary at all, but you definitely shouldn't be on the Supreme Court of the United States.
Or just those people aren't up for re-election either.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, elected judges also tend to not,
So let's bring this back. Let's bring this back to election stuff because we're supposed to cover the midterm.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that we want good judges. And for the 20-something-year-old who just took Ed Emmett's seat, good luck. I really hope you're reading the civil rules of procedure right now and the rules of evidence.
Yes, seriously.
I hope you're taking some bar courses because come January, if I get a case that's assigned to you, because now it's in the lottery system.
Oh my God. Okay, if you get a case assigned to him and you have a hearing, let me know.
Him or her, I don't know who.
Okay,
I don't know.
But let me know. I will get a plane ticket to come watch that.
I
want to see. No, I don't care. I just want to watch this motherfucker talk to Haley like she doesn't know what she's talking about. I just want to watch it. I just want to.
Bitch, you had like a year's notice for Sweden. You've had
No, I understand,
always,
but
you have notice for Burning Man now. You ain't gonna.
now I will make time for this.
Exposed what really motivates you.
Yes, you did. I will make time for this because I want to see Haley ninja someone who's like, but I want to see.
He really just wants to see.
But I want to see it done. I want to see it done in a way where she avoids contempt of court. That's what I really want to see.
Anyway, okay.
I've never been held in contempt.
Let's move on.
I just want to see it. I just want to see it.
This is fun stuff, but let's move on.
Okay.
Because again, we're in a very small sort of space right here in terms of what anybody could relate to in terms of what we're talking about. But let's bring it up. So Democrats got the House now, and that's some pretty big stuff in terms of who's going to control the purse strings in terms of legislation, in terms of executive orders. You have guys like Nunes are off chairing the Judiciary Committee, and we have, is it Schiff? I think Adam Schiff is chairing the Judiciary Commission now, or committee. And then Maxine Waters is chairing the because the right.
Yeah, she's chairing Ways and Means.
Ways and Means, right? Which I find to be delightful. I'm trying to just dial back my Schadenfreude because it was so fucking ugly after 2016. I kind of made a little vow to myself not to be a shithead about it.
And you were wrong.
I was wrong.
Oh yeah, because now you have Maxine Waters chairing the Ways and Means Committee, and you're just like, let her rip, baby.
No, I'm trying to not be that guy. I'm just saying. The point now is we get to see some checks and balances. We get to see some hearings.
This is my gentle side eye. This is as gentle as it gets. I know where you're coming from.
It's soft to the point of creepy.
Yeah. Yeehaw. The only person on the goddamn representative floor, really, that's calling for impeachment of Trump with no grounds, Maxine Waters. Let's get it. You're gonna get his tax returns.
Yeah, and see, that's what we're hoping to see. And I think
what are you hoping to see out of that? Some guy's tax returns?
Who he might be beholden to, and whether or not he's
conflicts of interest. Emoluments violated.
You guys can speculate. I totally understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying that you all expect that out of them, and that's what you want to see.
He'll refuse, but there's subpoena power. The thing is, it's not. Okay, let's go real meta with this.
Even if we're gonna
let's go real meta with this. Whether or not we get any of the things that he gets subpoenaed for, because he's going to get subpoenaed for a lot of stuff.
We're going to
come January.
When they just get it straight from the IRS.
The point is, he's going to be mired in conflict for the rest of this term.
And that's good.
That's good for Democrats. That's good.
It's good for Democrats. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. It's good for the American.
It's good for not having a second term for Trump. Is what I'm getting.
Yeah. No. And while I like that goal, I grew sick of that tactic while Obama was president. I'm definitely tired of it still. I hate the fact that we just,
what were you sick of?
I'm sick of the fact that we mire everybody in controversy. I mean, how much money did we spend on those goddamn Benghazi hearings to get an email scam?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I think the Benghazi hearings were necessary.
At first, but I mean, we dumped over 27 million into them, and we just pursued them into an email scandal. Right, really went nowhere.
And Mueller's got how many indictments now, and how many confessions?
And he's not even got half that budget right now. But
and we're coming to that later, guys.
All I'm saying is that I don't want to watch the House go the other direction and do the same shit from the other side. I don't want to watch Kamala Harris play Trey Gowdy 2.0 and drag Donald Trump.
That's how partisanship works, baby.
But that's not the way it always works.
I don't mind seeing her drag him through the mud if there is true mud to drag.
But there was no mud in Benghazi, and I don't think there's going to be mud for any of this either.
You don't think there's going to be mud for?
That's my concern is that they're going to rush the gun.
There might be.
There's too many people.
There might be in a district court for what the lawsuit already is. I don't know what the hell they're going to do on the emoluments clause in the House. which committees investigate this, Ways and Means again. Like, again, I feel like you're just pulling Benghazi 2.0 and you're trying to pull bullshit out of nothing. And we're looking for some reason to attack this person in the next election cycle, which is what they did to Hillary Clinton before she even decided she was running for president. They were like,
but also to hamstring his legislative agenda, the policy that he wants to push. If he is stuck from the moment he wakes up to the moment he lays his head back on his little goose down pillow, like if he's dealing with, committee hearings and subpoenas and, this drug
I think that just comes
process
with the job.
It does, well, and I agree to some degree. Again, I just don't want to see things. I don't want to see things go hardcore partisan, but I understand that it does come with a job, and not only that, but the party against you is going to investigate.
Y'all are missing my point. So, I think that there needs to be oversight because I think we've been severely lacking in oversight, and I'm glad about that. I think that they need to, do some intensive fact-finding and investigative things just to make sure that shit's good with how things are running our government. I don't think, I'm not them hamstringing everything. I don't agree with Trump's policies, but I hope that they don't fight just to fight for fighting's sake. I hope that they actually try to get some things done. And I hope that, the last time that the Republicans were in this kind of position with Clinton and they just moved so fast, they moved to impeach on lying about a blowjob and everything, and it goes to the Senate, and it just kind of fizzles out. And, yes, I think that there needs to be oversight. And I don't mind watching Kamala Harris just take someone to the floor. But I want it to not be over him lying about a blowjob.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too. Like, I don't want it to be over something that's questionable to Emelman's realm or something like that. That's like, well, someone that's foreign bought a hotel room at your hotel and you're president now, and we're looking for an excuse to impeach. I agree with you, but I agree with you completely, Haley, because what you said was spot on. The idea that I want things investigated. We need oversight, and we definitely needed the House or the Senate. Either way, we needed one of the houses or one of we needed one branch of the legislative
to have subpoena power.
Exactly, to flip and to actually be in control.
To have a different subpoena power than the Senate.
Because I mean, Grassley out of everybody has kept probably the best decorum of actually, trying to look above board. I mean, Nunes looked like shit. I mean, it was obvious that Nunes.
So glad his ass is gone. I think that's a bigger thing for
Nunes was a huge shill that was just lick, spittle, bootlicking bullshit. I agree to the idea that you can't just, my party's in power, so we're going to ignore everything and try to twist shit.
And that's okay. So, two tracks is yes. Democrats can now be partisan,
and they can do this, and we can play Nunes.
All those fucking games, right?
And I'm afraid they're going.
But at the same time, for 2 years, we've watched a complete lack of accountability, a complete lack of oversight. Now it's time to see some fucking oversight.
Yeah, I understand.
And there's legitimate theirs there to a lot of these things, and they've just not been acknowledged because we know the people in power just don't give a rat's ass because they're getting what they want.
Exactly.
And that's come to an end at this point.
Yeah, no, and I like that. I completely agree. And with both sure. Haley brought that up first, but what both of you said on that end, we do need real oversight, 100%.
Yeah.
My only trepidation is the fact that I think we're going to turn into Benghazi 2.0, and we're going to do the same dumb shit from the other end. If we're just going to nitpick everything to death and try to blow something up. 4 guys died in Benghazi, but this led us to an email scandal, and now we're email scandal. MSNBC is now 24-hour news cycle about the fact that Donald Trump had some Japanese, aide from their Congress or whatever stay at one of his hotels while he was president. Fuck me.
When's Mueller going to release his report? Is he going to wait for Dems to actually take office?
Oh, I don't know.
We don't. Well, first of all,
we're circling into that.
We don't know shit about that. We can start circling into it soon. I'd like to let Jason and Chris kind of talk.
Yeah, you guys have been real quiet. We've been running our mouths.
I'll let you kind of guide them for a minute. I'm gonna Pour a drink in. I'll be right back.
Well, from the way it looks like with Mueller's investigation is he's not really so much concerned with Russia as there are potential fraud allegations going on here.
Fraud done by whom?
Trump himself or people in his cabinet is what I last took a look at. Because I'm thinking, like, if they're going to get him on something, it better be good.
Well, it's got to be okay. First of all, I legitimately hope he does not get impeached because I don't think that's going to go anywhere. A, given the composition of the Senate, and B, the fact that he can play martyr about it essentially. Don't want to see impeachment hearings on him at all because I know that was like the whole thing from the beginning. Impeach. There's a narrative among the left that he's just, and I think it's true. He's just not qualified to be president at all. So let's get him out, right? But I think there's not effective levers to pull to make that happen, and I think it'll ultimately backfire. I want to see Trump and Pence on the ticket in 2020, and Biden or somebody who's got some real fucking moxie to come out and take his ass out. That's the way it's going to happen. And the fact that he'll be being held accountable for the next 2 years, the fact that he's going to have his agenda and the policy that he wants to see out, hamstrung and nerfed and mired down in actual checks and balances.
That's good.
Yeah, as much as impeachment would be nice, it would just be great to see him actually genuinely lose.
Yeah, it's sexy but stupid.
I think it'd be better. Just because it shows that we're better.
Right, and you can take that tack, but like I just want a damn win. Like I'm starting to see that proud tear in Mitch McConnell's eye when he acts unscrupulous because he gets what he wants at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I want an America that I'm not embarrassed to be affiliated with. And I don't have to do anything unscrupulous to get there, but like, let's just talk about what it takes to win. And that's
I mean, like, I want to see that as well. And I don't think that we don't need to do impeachment to get that done.
Yeah.
We just need to hold people accountable for the next 2 years and then not,
Right.
And then elect someone who's competent and good for the position.
Right. I mean, and that's, when Obama took office, we had the midterms, and it was basically to say, fuck you to Obama, to everything you want to do, anywhere ever, because he had his name attached to it for no other reason than that, to nerf his ass down and stop him from doing anything he wanted to do. And that played well amongst the Republican base. And I think that will play well amongst the Democratic base to do essentially the inverse. But we don't, and here's the important part, we don't have to do it just to say fuck you to Trump. We can say it because it's bad policy, because it's unsound, because it's pernicious and dreadful and cruel and stupid. We can say fuck you to Trump's policy just for that reason.
We should build up our relationship with our allies. And we could say
good start.
Stop these stupid trade wars.
Yes, please, God. Oh,
and
really?
Accountability.
Well, and that is the blessing of having the House go Democrat, is that there is a level of accountability. And that's what I'm looking forward to, especially. I do like the fact that we have a form of check and balance.
I almost wish we had renamed this Hangout to Trump now has an accountability buddy.
But the thing is that we're not really talking about in this Hangout is that's not actually true yet. He doesn't have the accountability buddy
that's true.
Yet. And he did fire Sessions, the day after he was told,
hallelujah,
you're getting an accountability buddy soon.
Guys.
Stop. Who said hallelujah to that?
I did.
All right, so
okay, so I don't like Sessions whatsoever.
Amen.
But replacing him with basically a Trump sycophant is also not great. So this is like an out of the frying pan into the fire kind of thing. Because my understanding, and Chris, I'm just, again, glad Sessions is gone. Like in a vacuum, that would be fantastic.
I mean, yeah, but we got some guy named Matt Whitaker, who's like a doughy boy from Iowa, who was head of a U.S. attorney spot in Iowa. What are they illegally grow corn? We pushing illegal corn here. Hang on.
Is he from Iowa?
He sure is. Yes, he was. His only experience on the federal judicial level was he was a U.S. attorney appointee to Iowa.
Okay. The biggest issue is that he.
And then was he was Sessions' chief of staff, and that's his political career or his Justice Department career.
I'm sure that there are some lifelong defense attorneys who could totally work at the Department of Justice who have never held a government position before that.
Well,
I mean,
sure.
Rex Tillerson was a good Secretary of State, and he was just a CEO. He was a CEO of
Exxon. Because he has no Middle Eastern dealings his entire life.
There is other practical experience that you can get that'll help you know how to handle a position that isn't necessarily a government position. But what I'm trying to say is the biggest issue with him is he's never had a background check done on him. He's never been vetted.
Oh yeah,
by anyone.
Certainly not the Senate. No, he had to have had a background check done to be a U.S. attorney. He was in charge of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Iowa, so he got that.
For the position that he is now in front of, he has not had any of the requisite background checks.
Never had a federal background check to be a local U.S. attorney.
That is not what I said.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering.
She's talking about he's not had a background check for the position he's now been appointed to.
Oh yeah, okay. So what you're saying, he's not confirmed by the Senate. He's yeah.
Right. Well, yes, either. But,
he hasn't been vetted.
Right. He's not been vetted at all. So there's a couple different tracks that we can take with. Is it Matt Whitaker?
Yeah, it's Matt Whitaker. It's Matt Whitaker. But
he's a Trump sycophant. The concern is that A.G. Sessions had recused himself from the Mueller investigation, so he wasn't going to dip his beak in. Whereas Whitaker now has to be sort of applied to approve of different subpoenas.
Well, in the Mueller investigation, he's de facto in charge of it.
He's in charge of the investigation. Yeah. He can shut it down. He cannot approve anything Mueller's doing.
Well, he's also been on CNN talking as a commentator, explaining the strategy of how to shut that investigation down if he were running it. His was let me cut funding until they're just bleeding and they have nothing to do with it.
Does not fill me with confidence.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get back to that. I didn't know what I really don't understand what you're saying. He's not vetted. Do you mean he's not vetted because he's not been Senate approved? Which I think that holds some water.
I don't think it matters. But it's someone who hasn't gone. You have to do X, Y, and Z in order to be in this position. He hasn't.
Yes. So you're saying he's not Senate approved, which is fine. I completely agree with you there because he's not.
It's not that he's not. He hasn't even gone through the process to get approval.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean is the Senate has not approved him. Like you need advice and consent of the Senate.
I mean, that's like saying, he hasn't been accepted into law school. It's like, bitch, he hasn't even applied to law school yet. There's like a couple of steps.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm with you now. That's what I want.
He hasn't taken the LSAT.
He hasn't taken the LSAT. Yeah.
I think at this point, if we're going to make that analogy, he took the LSAT. He just hasn't applied to a law school.
Okay, let's.
But either way,
let's not.
I know what you mean. Guys. That's what I wanted to clarify. He doesn't have. We don't have advice and consent.
Oh my God.
So
sorry.
Important distinctions on the constitutional level.
So yeah, again, constitutional. To hit that just briefly. Plausible that his appointment is not currently constitutional.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I think that's what
and we were talking before before we started the broadcast, and I had brought up something called a esoteric writ of quo warranto, basically saying, does Trump actually have the powers to appoint somebody who's gone through no vetting whatsoever or confirmation process? And I think it was
Chuck Schumer
had put out something in a letter to that effect.
Yeah, he wrote the White House.
Can you really do that? Is it constitutional? And I feel like that constitutional question is going to be largely ignored on partisan lines.
It wasn't Schumer. It was a woman.
It was Schumer.
There's a woman. I don't know if she's I think she's an attorney general out of Maryland, the Maryland Attorney General. She got 19 other states to sue.
Okay. Oh, so they're suing over. Okay, that might be quo warranto. No, what I meant was what initially started that conversation. The thing we were talking about before was Chuck Schumer wrote a letter the next day to the president, directly to him, saying like, "Hey, my reading of the Constitution, everything I understand is this is not allowed. How do you propose to do this?"
And I think I believe it's the AG from Maryland. She got 19 other states to sign on to, and I believe they filed suit about it.
And I think that's what David was asking. I think that would be a writ quo warranto, but I'm not sure. How do you challenge the president on their executive powers legally?
I don't know. I don't do that. I represent oil companies.
But that's it, again. It's an esoteric, question essentially. But like, it's my understanding that like the president can't just appoint somebody, because normally if somebody is forced to resign, that's where forced to resign / fired. That's the gray area with President Sessions.
But I think
is like, does he get to appoint somebody else? Interim.
I think the question is still good, though. Even if it's interim as acting attorney general, like the question is still good. That position requires advice and consent of the Senate, and if you don't have it, I don't think you can appoint someone who is not already passed Senate muster. I mean, we had the same thing with Sally Yates when we had the first travel ban.
I remember that.
I forget who was deputy AG or whatever. They stepped down. Sally Yates kind of took over as acting because she was approved by the Senate. She had advice and consent of the Senate. She was the acting AG at the time. She fought it, and then she got fired. And then we ran into the problem that we were talking about initially when we first started this podcast. I was saying, hey, we don't have anyone who can approve FISA warrants, because if you don't have anybody who's confirmed through the advice and consent of the Senate, they can't approve a FISA warrant. Like Matt Whitaker, if he is going to be acting AG, could not approve a FISA.
I think he is acting AG technically, right?
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Yes.
So let's call him acting AG. He can't approve a FISA warrant, which means that the entire Department of Justice is shut down from access to FISA warrants right now while he's acting AG.
Well, the holidays are about to start anyway, so it's not like anything's going to be done.
I read Starbucks cups and mistletoe, and we're going to talk about all of this. But
spot on, Haley.
So other things that are interesting about Whitaker, if anybody follows Patheos at all, like he said some variantly like anti-secular type remarks, talking about if a judge is a secular person, that he doesn't trust their judgment. Basically, if they don't have a biblical view of justice. Not even fucking kidding. Like, and that's all aside to the partisan game that's being played right now, and the whole power struggle about Mueller and the investigation.
I have a question about that.
But like, he's a dominionist, like anti-LGBT, like chill. Like,
he won't be around for that long. But I do have a question. So the accountability buddy is coming. He's showing up in 2 months. And Trump did make the move with Sessions, but from November 13th today up into whenever they're sworn in, which is what, like January 6th or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I think it's early mid-January.
I'll tell you.
What can Trump do? What will Trump, like, what's he gonna do? Like, this is the injured dog, injured cat.
Are you talking about what's he gonna do as far as Mueller goes?
I think he's probably trying to plot something. I mean,
if Whitaker's acting AG, he can fire Mueller. He can just be done.
I mean, so we have the Mueller report that we don't know, and that's why I asked earlier: is he going to wait until the Dems actually get sworn in?
Well, I was going to say, it doesn't matter because the Dems can wait until they're sworn in, and they can subpoena Mueller and then just make him talk.
Yeah,
Whitaker, this is a funny thing.
If Trump tries to do this, Mueller can give the entire report as public testimony in front of the Dems, aside from things that are classified. But Mueller can just get out there on national television and give his entire report, at which point Congress has to act if there's a smoking gun. I mean,
Mhm.
And the House
You know,
will.
so-
So, like, again, this is
well,
never.
the House may act.
This is never going to go to impeachment, like successfully anyway.
You mean he's never going to be removed?
He'll never be removed. Yes,
He could be
yes,
voted
he
for
could be impeached. but he'll
come
never be
January,
removed.
whatever, he could be impeached.
But you don't want that shit to backfire. You don't pull the trigger unless you know you're going to get.
You want a smoking gun,
So-
and that's well. I mean, in all fairness, with Clinton, we thought we had a smoking gun. I mean, you had dead nuts for perjury.
Right.
I mean, lied.
But impeachment is a political
Under
maneuver, and you know
Yeah.
the Senate right now. I think we're sitting because there are some races undecided. By the way, back to midterms,
Republicans
like
now
51
yeah,
to
Republicans
45 or
Yeah,
something like
yes,
that,
yes.
and there's some undecided races still bopping around.
Yes.
There's two.
Okay, so
Wait, no, but Arizona was decided. Are we just waiting
Arizona
for Mississippi?
went
So it should be
Democrat,
46. It should be 51-46. That would mean that we have three.
Plus two independents. So
True.
So
Yeah.
51.
So we got one or two left. Yeah, somewhere in there.
We're still waiting
Either
on the
way.
governor in Georgia.
I
Well,
know-
that's true.
I
We're
know
waiting on
that
the governor in
I know
Florida,
the
too.
That's probably
the Mississippi one is going to run up, but I don't know if we're waiting for any other Senate seats.
It doesn't matter. The Republicans hold
as
the
of
majority,
yesterday
but you
anyway.
need
But yeah.
2/3 majority for removal from
Yeah,
office.
so that's the point. Is he's never going to be removed from office.
He might. The only way he's being removed is if you give us a smoking gun that says this piece of shit sold us out to the Russians
I
to
don't
take
believe
office.
there will be any. The presence of a smoking gun doesn't mean it will be acknowledged.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
If there's nothing else I've learned about the ideology of, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go partisan here, like the cult of Trump on this thing.
Look, there's such a
however
thing.
bad it is, it will be dismissed, denied.
You
They're
know,
gonna play whataboutism.
this is the same
They're gonna
shit
do all
we
these
had-
games
this
because they don't have to acknowledge
This
this
is
as bad as it
This
is.
is the same shit we did with Nixon and why it took so long to get Nixon out of office. It's the same shit. If you have a real smoking gun that says this guy ordered someone to break into records and do this, I mean, if it's obvious and there's no way to deny it, that's it. You know,
There's
people
still-
resign over that kind of shit. Trump may make it go to trial, but if it came out that Trump literally
Trump likes to
sold
go to
it,
trial.
if Trump literally,
And
no, he
now
doesn't. No,
the
Trump does not go to
Clinton,
trial. When has
Nixon
Trump ever gone to
resigned.
trial? Trump always settles at the last second and takes a massive financial beating. When has Trump gone to trial? Ever?
I'd have to
Nixon
get- I mean-
resigned in '74.
Yeah, after he won re-election.
So he won re-election and then he
That's about, I
resigned.
think it was his 5th year or 6th year as president, and then he resigned. The investigation started back damn near the beginning of his presidency. It took a while. It always takes a while.
Yeah, it
but
took
I'm
a
just
while
saying
for
that
that,
if you
really.
if you come up with evidence,
I know. Did you
Yeah.
see that they had that that Nixon memo released? There was they declassified a memo from the Nixon like Watergate investigation thing, and it's a roadmap for I believe I don't remember exactly how the word NPR. I'm going to say impeachment because that's what my gut says, but it was on NPR. But they released it on the grounds that it provides a precedent for Mueller in his investigation.
interesting. I think
I
Well,
believe I like sent y'all that, and I was like, "This is
our
bigger,
two biggest-
This is big." I was like, "This is bigger news than it's being reported."
I think our two main questions right now that I know of that remain in the Mueller investigation will be: Can you get Trump on a grand jury subpoena and make him testify? And I mean, we already know that no one really agrees that you can indict a sitting president. So
Yeah,
I think those are our two questions. No, I don't think Mueller's going to try to indict a sitting president. That's not Mueller's thing.
And I don't know what I just read briefly about that Nixon memo. Let me see if I can Google real quick. But I don't know if it had anything to do with indictment.
I would guess it's probably what was the roadmap to get Nixon to testify before a grand jury. That'd be my guess. I mean, that's just off the top of my head because I don't remember ever reading that article. But
yeah. I mean,
there was
he's
another
not gonna be indicted.
there was another political article that came out not that long ago that made a great argument based on speculation alone on the fact that Trump has already.
It said they released a draft indictment of Richard Nixon.
Oh, all right, sexy.
Yeah, the National Archives released a central set of documents from the Watergate scandal, including a would-be indictment against President Nixon.
Nice.
This was 2 weeks ago. Y'all don't remember me messaging y'all about this?
I don't.
I was like, this is
There's-
bigger news
there's-
than what's
there's
being
a lot that's
recorded, and y'all
happening.
didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
remember it.
Sorry. But I think one of the things, though, that, I mean, there's a difference in the culture and the political atmosphere right now. I think there's a level of partisanship that is present now that was not in the Nixon days. I don't believe there's any bar really that could be passed to get.
Wrong.
And I'm not trying to be silly. Okay?
I know you're not. But
I'm
you're
not
wrong.
trying to be
You're
silly.
being cynical, and you're wrong. I mean, I'm telling you that I know the craziest of Republicans. I mean, I know people who are right-wing fringe psychopaths. Some of them are my family.
Yeah.
I know these people, and I love them. But I'm telling you that if you really put good information down that's just not really deniable, that says this man legit
That's the question,
sold
though.
that's the question. You need a real smoking gun. A smoking gun that says this guy sold this country out to be president.
Mm-hmm.
You will not see them backing against it. You won't see the buck anymore. They'll get quiet.
But the advancement, the rise.
I don't know about that, just because some of his actions have been so dismissed and looked at so uncritically.
There have been intelligent conservative commentators, no matter how disingenuous they've been. They've still been intelligent. But I'm saying they're doing a good job of spinning.
I got some crazy right-wing people in my family too.
Yeah, no, I know, but they're still basing. But they're still basing their critiques on right-wing media that has intelligent shows that spin shit in a way that at least is presentable. I mean, if you again show me some communication,
What shows are those?
Huh?
What shows are you talking about?
I'm not talking about shows. I'm talking about articles out of like Daily Caller and Breitbart and things like that. I mean, there are intelligent people that write for these sources that do a damn good job of spinning fact into opinion. It's believable.
I wonder how much Kool-Aid has been drunk on Team Trump.
No, I know there's plenty of Kool-Aid drunk on Team Trump. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying a lot of this is all speculation. If you have something that is undeniable.
There's nothing that's undeniable.
Like the Nixon tape.
There's nothing.
Like the Nixon tape to say, break into there and steal this shit.
I know people who
as undeniable as the whole Acosta assault or whatever. I mean, that was videoed live.
Come on. Yeah, but I can still make I as a criminal defense attorney and somebody who was a former prosecutor, I could make an argument that was assault. I mean, you could do it. It's a stupid hill to die on, but you can do it.
But that's the point.
Yeah, but you can't die on a hill where you have yourself on.
Can I play homage to Stan Lee here just for a second? Just for a second. Stan Lee passed away, was it the other day before yesterday, have you. Yeah. Passing of a legend. I was watching Daredevil, the new season.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a conversation between a young Daredevil, Matt Murdock, and I guess a priest. And he's talking about the difference between argumentation as a skill and being argumentative. Okay?
Uh-huh.
You can apply being argumentative to any motherfucking thing if you really want to.
Okay.
If you are motivated by something other than the merits of whatever case you're presenting, if that is your motivation, is to defend whatever tribe, team, ideology, if you can, let me finish, you can go there. You can be the argumentative person.
Sure.
And you can employ the skill of argumentation, but that does not mean there's rational merit to anything. But the argument can still be forwarded.
I agree.
Regardless.
But there are certain
arguments. And that will happen regardless.
If they'll try. Sure, they'll try.
The cult of Trump.
I mean, well, hell, they did the same thing with Nixon. Some people tried. What I'm saying is if you actually have real smoking gun evidence, it's over.
The culture.
It is
The culture in the Nixon era is very different from the culture of today. We are living in a post-fact, post-truth society.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to that.
Baby. I mean, there's a real reason for that.
It goes to, I've seen this now. It's the whole, the way that you're taught, like, substantial evidence, it could be just as good as direct evidence. You have a kid, you're a parent, and you come home, and that cake you made that was on a cookie tray is gone, and there's crumbs leading to your kid's bedroom, and you walk in, and he has icing all over his face. But the thing is, if his friend standing in the room is like, no, you didn't do it, I think that we now are living in a world where people
listen to the
people just people just want to believe that too, to a
No,
certain degree.
okay, look, I
And
get
so,
that.
like, you're talking about a smoking gun. I'm saying that, like, yeah, I can see even something that I consider an alarm, like a smoking gun.
The problem with Nixon's case was that there was no way to deny it. The man himself had recorded the tapes. They existed. There was evidence of him
There's
plotting.
Michael Cohen tapes, but
No, but the Michael Cohen tapes don't say shit, Haley. We've all heard them. They were already leaked. They don't say a damn thing.
The thing,
But Michael Cohen
they
and
weren't all leaked.
the Wall Street Journal has actually come out with an article. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. This was a couple days ago. The Wall Street Journal came out with an article saying Donald Trump was unquestionably involved in that. Not only was he the ringleader of it, but it was his idea.
Yeah, but they also haven't heard all the tapes. That's just going to the Stormy Daniels thing.
No, it's not just Stormy National Enquirer in general and his entire plan to shut down all of his dalliances, which now is being reported that he may have up to 8 people he's forced them to have abortions. This is news that's coming out every day.
Oh yeah, they're about to get him on campaign finance.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
It's really funny because,
but is that gonna be your hill you die on? Are we going to Benghazi 2.0 on campaign finance? Is that what we're gonna do? Are we gonna do that?
Did he break rules?
Obama broke rules and his campaign was fined almost $500,000 about $500,000, and it was in shit.
For an error, not made in bad faith, and he paid it, right?
Yeah, well, and I mean, Clinton's error may not have been made in bad faith, or it may have been bad. That's what I'm saying. Is you're gonna die on this hill on campaign finance? Show me the smoking gun.
Right, it's not an error to intentionally facilitate the whole. I call it the Stormy Daniels, all of that.
I get it.
That's not an error.
But
that's not one lie.
Do Americans care so much that 2/3 of the Senate are going to flip that way? I don't think they would.
No.
Then why
they don't care?
Do you want to die on that hill? Then is the question. Is that the hill you're
proving the point.
Wait, stop, Chris. What were you going to say?
I live in the middle
I'm sorry.
of Trump. I live in the middle of Trump paradise. I'm out here in it, and
where do you live?
Care. I'm in rural West Georgia.
Whew.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're the same way.
We're southern middle Tennessee, so
we're the same way.
We're kissing cousins.
80%, I think, Republican in our area. 80%, 75%.
Right.
Yeah, which is great.
The thing is Trump. They know Trump's a bad guy in the past, but they think he's asked Jesus to forgive him, and so he's washed anew. Seriously. He's bad, but he's not as bad as him.
and the word was made flesh.
Wait, I want to hear what he has to say.
The thing is, here's the kicker. He's bad, but he's getting results, and he's not as bad as Hillary was. That's what the Democrat friends of mine seem to miss. It's not that Republicans think he's amazing. He's better than the candidates the Democrats keep putting out.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you entirely.
Yeah, no, it's accurate.
It's the same thing I tell people all the time. My bank account doesn't complain. I'm not hurting financially. Thanks, Donald Trump.
Well, what I paid for in healthcare is
I could have got that out of any other Republican president ever, but
right. At least it wasn't Hillary.
Yeah, at least it wasn't Hillary. We could be at war with Russia right now in Syria if you wanted Hillary as president. That's what we'd be doing.
Yeah, you guys do realize we're talking about a guy who said he could walk onto Fifth Avenue, shoot somebody, and no one would do anything about it. Trump knows his monkeys.
Oh yeah, he's not wrong, and I completely agree with you there. I mean,
that's why I don't think we should even do impeachment. I think that you just don't you just beat him in election.
Well,
that is the only solution. No,
well, we're 2 years away from an election. It's time you start gearing up for that. I agree with you there. Yeah, no, I know, and that's kind of where we're going with this too. Is it's time to gear up for that? What's the attack method?
I'm glad there's going to be oversight and everything. At the end of the day, I don't think that even if there is a smoking gun that he sold out this country, so long as it happened, if it's like some fact that's in the past which it will be because that's how everything is. Everything is in the past.
Sure. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think Democrats
They'll be like, I don't know, it's kind of like tapping off of what Jason was saying. Like, yeah, like he's getting results, and he's taken to Jesus now. So, or whatever.
I mean, what Jason said was accurate. I think what Chris said is also accurate, that like they took Trump over really anybody who they determined to be less tolerable.
Which really upset some of them.
And Trump said, he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. Trump, he did the political equivalent. I think this is 6 months to a year ago almost now, when he figuratively sucked Putin's cock on the world stage when Putin said he didn't do it, and he's like, well, he said he didn't do it. I mean, that's the most feckless, spineless, like.
Was that in Helsinki?
Yes, it was the Helsinki thing when he met Putin and he kissed the ring.
Was that already
kissed other things?
Ago?
No,
it's not a year.
It's barely been 5 months.
It's 5, 6 months, something like that.
I thought that happened in March.
The fact that he could do that, and we all know, if somebody like Obama or any Democratic president did anything even remotely close to that, he would be crucified. He or she would be crucified. Trump did it. Trump he slid through that shit.
And you're not wrong.
Does not matter. Let me get this out, guys. The defense of Trump is based on presupposition and cognitive bias. Okay, that's what reinforces support for Donald Trump. Okay, I'm not mad about it. I understand it. James is going out to smoke. Colin, he's walking out the door. And let's not get upset about the idea that there can be no smoking gun, because it will not matter, because how that's going to be viewed is defined by cognitive bias. I'm not mad about it. I don't hate people who are not going to see reality for what it is. Like it's past the point of being upset about it, and it's a stupid thing to fight about. The point is, Haley, as you said, how do we beat him in 2020? Let's transition to that.
But I just wanted to have one thing. I also some of the actions that I'm concerned about that are going to come from the left side of our government. Like, I also feel like I understand, because I just thought in my head, and Macron, that whole World War I tour thing that Trump just went on.
Oh yeah.
And Macron gave a speech, and he was just like, nationalism. Calling yourself a nationalist is basically how you become a Nazi. Like at his speech, and Trump he tweeted about how France was learning German before the Americans stepped in, and some other stuff, and he is like, and the thing is, that's being excused of like, oh, it's Trump, it's just how he acts on Twitter. But then you compare that with, oh, wow, that mature, he said he didn't do it. Let's have a nice, friendly, and I don't know, but the thing is, that was also talked away. And so, but I get it. It's frustrating because he's just doing so goddamn fucking much. And
Macron's on point. And this is one of these things. Anybody else, if we did not have the lens of cognitive bias, essentially, regarding Trump, if you just step back and saw what he did and how bad it looks, we can make it. We can make it.
And all of that's circumstantial, but they'll explain away the circumstances.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. It's not even because I have deeply conservative friends. It's like, hey guys, what about this? What do you guys think about that? I thought you guys were super pro-military and pro-veteran. What happened to? I could say all of those things.
They just keep believing the friend saying he didn't eat the cake.
I would have to make the mistaken assumption that actually mattered more than having, not wanting to admit that they made a mistake by supporting this guy.
Because at the end of the day, I don't remember if it was Chris or Jason, he's better than Hillary. And so it always has to eventually break down into that being the ultimate conclusion. He's better than Hillary.
And again, I'm using a kind of an esoteric philosophy term, but presupposition. That's just a fancy fucking $4 word for, to assume beforehand. And that's, if you start with that as your root in how you view the world is that however bad Trump is, he's going to be better than Hillary. If that's what is what's turning your gears, from the moment you wake up to the moment you lay your head down, like you're always going to come back through that for a lot of people. And I don't want to hate on these people, and I'm not trying to ridicule or be mean or nasty to these people, but that's where they are. Cognitively.
Well, I mean, my mom is probably my best friend. I mean, I could text her for literally anything, and she would show up if she could,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if that's the standard, then yeah. But I mean, she's very red, very Republican. She voted for Trump in the primaries, but
how'd she vote in general? Did she tell you?
For this, yeah. I mean, she said she wrote in a name, but I personally think she voted for Trump. But she does get sort of vehemently mad whenever Hillary is even brought up. It's and I will never bring it up. But if it comes up on the news or something, it's like a trigger of anger immediately. She's just I don't even know what exactly Hillary did to put all of the exact ingredients into a pot where people, Southerners and small business owners, hate you.
I think it's an effect. I mean, really deep down, once you dig beyond all of the excuses and she did this and she did that, you come back to the genesis of why people hate Hillary Clinton. It has to do with Bill Clinton and his fucking around, and the fact that she either sat by.
So she's paying for his sins.
She really is.
It goes a little bit more than that, because they feel like not only is she complicit in it, but she's an accomplice in it, because she's not, I don't want to say this. Okay, I'll say it. That basically she's not really a good woman, but that she's only with Bill because of political advantage for her personally. And that's viewed as betrayal, basically, of her gender. That she will put up with whatever the hell he did. That she will ride out and deride and destroy the lives and careers of people who have accused Bill of either fucking around or sexual assault.
Well, I mean, but that's different. I mean, so she's done. They view her as being some kind of active, having a very big active role in hurting people.
Yes.
Via Bill and stuff.
Right. There's that, but also the fact that she was not perturbed by what his behavior on its own. And he's had some really fucking bad behavior. Let's not.
I mean, okay, so I really think a good analogy on this is Melania, and here is how I feel about Melania. I'm impressed. I think that she holds one of the most famous positions in society right now, and she's beautiful. She's, got good fashion sense in general, and man, she knows how to make a fashion statement. She could build up an empire, and you know what? If I later find out that she fucking hated Donald Trump for the years of his presidency, I'm not going to be surprised, but I'm also not going to judge her for riding that out and okay, she wasn't a good woman just standing by her man after he had sex with porn star after porn star on her,
Before insulting him on Twitter, yeah.
Yeah. So no, she's not a good woman who just stands by her man. She used him I'm going to say, I predict she's going to build a great fashion empire, and I'm excited about it. I kind of like her looks, I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
Wasn't she the one who went to the border in the coat that says "I don't really care" to you?
She knows how to make a statement. I'll say that.
Yeah.
True.
And I mean, she's using his political platform to get more famous.
Okay,
And I mean, I guarantee you, she has some crazy prenup, so she probably can't divorce him while he's president either.
Yeah.
So, wait it out, build up some money, build up your fame, and
why divorce him in the first place? I mean,
if you hate him, you might eventually do that. But even if I thought, that's what I'm saying. Bill, if Hillary hated Bill,
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, and Hillary should have hated Bill. Well, why? I mean, I'm not going to judge these women for what they do. I understand the concepts of where they're at and what they're doing. I mean, let's look at what Donald Trump has done with her. Like, what is Donald Trump doing with Melania except using her?
I mean,
as a
I think
Right, that's-
but people have judged Hillary on Bill.
Yeah,
Is
of
what we're
course.
saying.
that's what we were talking about before. Is that we invoke the puritanical, and misogynistic kind of ideas about the roles of women when it comes to Hillary, vis-a-vis Bill and his behavior. But when it comes to Melania and sort of just giving a broad pass to the fact that he cheated on her blatantly on numerous occasions, and that she stood by, and Hillary, you're talking about she's going to have probably a fashion empire when this is all over. Like,
Why would she not?
and I personally don't hate on either one for this, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, I understand the concept of marriage and what this looks like. Like, it is what it is. Do you want to capitalize on this or not?
Right.
I mean, this is America. We're a capitalist country.
I'm just saying the hatred for Hillary came from this thing, from late 80s to early 90s kind of shit.
I don't think the hatred for Hillary is based on some misogyny aspects solely alone on your husband cheated on you.
I'm speaking of the genesis of it, the kernel of anti-Hillary sentiment. Where did it come from?
Hillary Clinton. And her involvement with her husband, the fact that she was a U.S. attorney, the Whitewater shit, all of that.
I don't know. She lies too, man. She's a liar.
Yeah, she's full of shit, and like it's never been in question. I mean, she's pompous, arrogant, and just a shitty person.
I think she's pompous. She's a little she's pompous.
I mean, she lost the 2016 election
I think pompous stuff really just turns like maybe 50% of people off right away. I bet
it does. And I hate to say, and now I will give credit to misogyny and sexism there. When a woman does it, it's really pompous, and people don't like that.
More than 50. Then
I mean, she's the female Scott Sapicki.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm being really honest,
I don't give a shit about you or your opinions. I'm entitled to this, and it's mine.
Pompous, partisan, very obtuse kind of an attitude. And it doesn't work for women.
No, it doesn't work for anybody.
No, Sapicki won.
Well, sure, but I mean, yeah. Well, but Sapicki was only up for election in a constituency that was 80% Republican.
He could run that up the chain. He could, and the consequences for his attitude would not be the same if he was a woman.
Okay, and I'll agree with that.
It's inescapable.
But I mean, if he was running for president or something, I mean, Scott Sapicki'd fall on his fucking face.
I mean, this is not about the merits of Sapicki running for president.
Yeah.
It's talking about the attitude where there's not the political consequences are the same if you're a man versus a woman.
Yeah. I mean, the best comparison I actually have for local politics would be Deschirlet. I mean, him forcing to have his mistresses abort babies and shit. That's not going to fly on a national
level. I'm not speaking from a position of love for Hillary Clinton.
And I mean, thinking on that, so that's some dirt on him. What if it was a woman who had 3 abortions?
Oh, yeah, it'd still bite her in the ass, too. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I think it's worse for her, right?
It is. I think it is, too.
Yeah.
It really is.
Way worse. There is a Republican running in like a I just like read a little bit about her because she's like maybe it's a congressman from Dallas. I don't know. Or maybe it's a state person, but she had 3 abortions, but she came to Jesus and like that, and now she's super pro-life.
Okay.
Well, her baby came to Jesus already.
She's been watching.
What the fuck?
I'm going to hell. Who's coming with me?
I'm gonna let you walk down there by yourself, bro.
I'll be waiting for you, brother.
Yeah, I'm going for plenty of other reasons.
That was pretty good.
What did my man say? We'll say, fuck it, I'm finna go to hell anyway.
Right?
Plane's going down, might as well set it on fire.
I'm gonna ride that bomb, baby.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah,
Sorry, I had to do it.
I highly doubt she got elected. Surely the Republicans couldn't elect her, right?
I don't know.
One of us should Google it. But anyway.
I'm gonna pass that buck to you. It's your state, Haley. You Google it. You brought it up. Oh man, shouldn't have spoke. I know how that goes. Sometimes you volunteer an idea and you're just like, shit, I just volunteered myself to research this too, didn't I?
I'm doing it.
Thank you. But
yeah, I mean, so okay,
I get the sexist end on Hillary Clinton and everything.
Right. I mean, it's there. It's present. There's a double standard.
Oh, trust me. I mean,
that's just the way our culture is. And again, this isn't me like whinging at anybody.
Well,
it's just a reality.
Well, anecdotally, I could tell the story of my father all day. Like my dad has been a big Democratic supporter. He's a member of the Union forever. That was his thing. He was so happy.
But your dad's like super Trump.
Yeah, when he was so happy when Obama was elected. And then Hillary Clinton ran for president, and he immediately clammed up, was like, I don't want her to be president, blah, 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 fuck her. And now he's completely on this Trump train thing. And I mean, it's hard to talk to the man.
Right.
Just like, you're watching a lot of Fox News, Dad. You okay?
Yeah, I've had conversation with your father. I tried to be as polite and diplomatic.
Oh, no, well, it's worked out. First of all, you don't know my dad. My dad's a gem. He's a great dude. But at the same time, I don't know what the hell is going on this.
They suckered him in with the legs.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I really think.
Are you talking about Fox News anchors?
No, I think it's a misogynistic thing. I mean, across the board. I mean, honestly, I think he's just misogynistic about it. Like he didn't like the idea of a female president,
really funny.
But he really didn't like the idea of a pompous female president who's known for lying, who gets out of her lies all the time.
Right.
I mean, like that rubs people the wrong way. It rubbed me the wrong way. I wasn't going to vote for fucking Hillary Clinton. Have you lost your mind?
Right.
No.
To the point where even I didn't, because she was not. She was
full of shit, dude.
She was not a good candidate.
She is a liar. She is corrupt.
She was still the lesser evil, right? Not to get into that.
All right, I found out her name.
Yes, do it.
Lisa Luby Ryan, a conservative Dallas Republican running for Texas legislature. Wants people to know the truth.
Did she win?
Let me see. It's Lisa. But I mean, it's state, so it doesn't,
Well, I mean, it definitely matters. It always matters. But I'm curious. I'm dancing over here. I'm ready for something. Tell me about it.
Let her look that up. In the meantime, I want to revisit.
I just want to know if Jesus saved her election.
Oh God. The conversation about lesser evils, right?
Sure.
Hillary Clinton was an ugly candidate. Yeah, didn't like her. I ultimately didn't end up voting for her, which I regret for reasons that I don't want to get into again.
Yeah, we're not going to. I mean, statistically, you're fucked.
It was either her, again, conversation about lesser evils. It was her or Gary Johnson, who didn't know his asshole from a hole in the ground.
Yeah, but I'll take the guy who doesn't want to be at war in the Middle East.
Or Donald Trump, who is basically an embarrassment to human civilization.
Yeah, okay.
That's where we are.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was the corrupt lying.
The day after the election, not only did I buy a firearm, I posted on Facebook that history will not be kind to us for this. I think in the long view of this is going to be a very black mark on our history. The fact that we succumb to this kind of thing, and not just it will be buttressed by other nationalistic right-wing movements in other countries in this era. It's true.
If we don't get it right, history won't be kind to us. But if we continue this path, not only down Donald Trump for 2020 and into 2024, but then say we pick up another nationalist in 2024. We'll be eaten alive by history. I mean, there will be a world war against us.
Please tell me Gorka's not going to run.
You heard what President Macron said.
No.
President of France, he said that Europe should start developing its own army to protect itself from the U.S., China, and Russia.
Harry can speak to that actually, because Sweden has stepped up their sort of military initiatives, asking people.
But no, Merkel actually came out. Merkel came out during Armistice Day saying that she wants a true European Union army.
Yeah.
And I mean, to that I say,
because they're afraid of Russia.
To that
let's be honest.
To that I say, go for it, but let's dissolve NATO first. Bye, guys.
The French President Macron. I mean, those guys have dealt with nationalists before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they're no secret. I mean, like Germany's dealing with a nationalist wave big time, and it's bad. And I say, let them have an EU army. Like, yeah, go get it, guys. Do your thing. When you do that, I want to dissolve NATO and I want America out of this problem. So go back to that. And if you need
what
us,
happens is it affects us.
if you need us, call us. You know, like
The isolationist thing doesn't work, man.
I'm not saying we should isolate. I'm just saying I don't want to be part of the EU's army. Let them have their own army, and NATO can go away.
Why does NATO need to go away?
Well, if the EU takes over, that's their own deal. What the hell are we needed for?
Well, again, like I said, what happens to them affects us.
Well, yeah. If we're needed, call
And
us.
also Russia,
Call-
bad guys.
Call me. You know, like if you need me, call me. But yeah, go ahead, do that.
I mean, if you need me, call me. Like that call will happen. Like
If you need us,
if EU
call us.
forces become engaged with, we'll say Russia or some other threat, like
Then
how is that not going to affect us?
Yeah, I agree it would affect us. Call us.
but
No,
that's
but-
why we have NATO. The
No.
call's already been made.
Then why the hell would we have NATO and an EU army? No, let them have the EU army. I want out of NATO. Fuck that. I'm tired of spending money saving your ass. If I have to do that, I will do it when a war
Your ass
happens.
is my ass. That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's what I keep saying.
It used to be. It's not necessarily that way anymore post-Cold War, but yeah, no. I mean, we can get involved. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to
You don't
watch.
think we're in a Cold War
I'm
right now?
not trying to watch Russia flex nuts on anybody. We're not doing that. I don't understand why Obama didn't engage after the annexations, but
Did we
that's
lose
just me.
somebody? I think we lost Haley.
She'll be back, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, after we lost, what was the Crimea to annexation? Yeah, it was time to go ahead and step up there. That was the time to be like, nah, fuck this. You can't just take sovereign
Yeah,
nations.
that's-
But that's cool. I mean, that's what we do. America's been doing this for a long time.
We're not in a good position with
It's the same thing we do with Israel. It's cool. Just take land from other people and fuck it. We'll just deal with it.
Oh yeah,
You know.
don't get me started on that shit either.
No, I mean, whatever.
We should probably get ready to wrap up here in a minute.
Oh, Haley's
Haley,
back.
thank you for coming back. But let's talk 2020. We've been talking about Hillary and the midterms and all this stuff. Let's just throw it out there. Ain't nobody wants Hillary Clinton to run for president in 2020. That's a dumb fuck idea. Let's not
Except
do
for
that.
Hillary Clinton, apparently.
Yeah, and also I know.
Oh, by the way, I don't know whenever it cut out, but that lady
My
did
mistake.
lose.
She lost.
her-
Oh
she
man.
lost.
There you go.
I don't know. I guess whenever I was searching, I might have closed something. My bad.
Hey,
Alright,
did you guys
so-
see the Dennis Hoff winning in Nevada?
Oh
Yes, we did.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's funny. I like the there was a meme, something about like, well, Democrats elected, like 12 scientists and all this diversity. This and
Yeah,
that.
and
like
Republicans
and the Republicans elected like 3 criminals and a dead pimp.
The three convicted felons and a dead pimp. Yeah.
that's,
I mean,
because at least they're not Democrats, right?
that's true.
There you go.
Hey,
Identity
man.
politics. There you
Ken
go.
Paxton is under indictment and can't have a firearm.
Well, that's
There
gonna
you
hurt
go.
your. That's gonna hurt your NRA rating.
Whoops.
But he's Texas's AG.
But we know
so-
Dennis Hoff. I mean, there's jokes about that, but like Republicans wanted the seat so they could appoint somebody else in his
Yeah,
place.
oh, yeah, I know.
It's a lot less funny, when you actually talk about the reality of it. But it is funny. They
Well, there
elected
was
a dead
nothing
pimp.
they could do about it. I mean,
Yeah,
in all
yeah.
fairness, they were screwed.
And it was a super like right wing district anyway. So like
Yeah, he was.
whatever.
He was gonna be, pimp.
It could be
in chief or
it could be a
whatever.
Republican sandwich and it would have won.
Yeah, it was. He was gonna be pimp in chief for his district.
I like I like the sandwich analogy
Well,
because I like sandwiches. But anyway, but 2020, Hillary's a super bad idea. I like how everything blew up immediately.
yeah, fuck that.
Because
God, I don't. And like the only person who doesn't agree is Hillary fucking Clinton.
So I may or may not have a meme page. That's
may or may not.
That's Hillary Clinton for 2020.
Ladies and gentlemen, that means he has a meme.
That means, yeah, we may have a meme page that we're now pushing super hard. It's
And it's
gaining a lot of traction, and we're getting people who actually are into this.
And it's really dank. And yes, I know literally one person who's like, yeah, Hillary should run again.
No, man, I know plenty of people.
One person.
I know a lot of people who are about
We
it.
know who he is.
Who?
Oh, yeah.
Who? What idiot?
Somebody you don't like who we've kicked off of the Fermenting Opinions group.
Caleb?
Does it? I can neither
I don't know
confirm
who
or
you're talking
deny.
Nor deny. But
Well, I
somebody
mean, like, I don't like the guy, but he was like crazy. So, I mean, he
he's super like,
told me
I
that
thought
I was
you calmed down a little
homophobic.
bit, but it's not
But Haley, you are homophobic.
an anti.
Yeah,
inside joke. We got a bad review on our Facebook page by someone who was.
This is
and also Caleb called me homophobic.
No, I remember. Yeah,
I'm about to Dave Chappelle this, y'all.
Yeah, all right. So
sorry.
So
Fermenting Opinions now has at least 2 liberal moderators who are homophobes.
So actually,
you people are disgusting.
Dave, do we need to talk about something?
Yeah, you guys do need to
talk about.
Look, we're all going to have an intervention on your homophobia because you're fucking disgusting and it's not acceptable. This is 2018.
Thanks, James.
Oberfell has already passed. You guys need to sit down.
Fucking you're taking it too far.
I'm gonna go drink more of your whiskey here in a second.
Look, a Republican was the swing vote who wrote the opinion. I don't want to hear.
Are we wrapping the call up now, though?
Yeah.
I think we're about to.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, in conclusion, Hillary's a bad idea. I don't care what anybody else says.
Yeah,
Hillary's a bad idea. I want to see some dank Uncle Joe memes.
Yeah, thank you. I'm into that.
And as far as I know, he's the front runner. I kind of feel like we should have somebody better. We don't.
Joe Biden?
Hang on, wait, Beto.
Yeah, there was a poll taken recently where Joe Biden was in the lead.
Yeah, Beto might make a
great
little,
running mate.
Beto might make a little Abraham Lincoln play and lose his Senate race and then try to be president of the United States. He might pull it off. Who knows?
And then cause a civil war.
All I know is that I honestly think that
his crew's gonna be Jefferson Davis.
This is going to sound horrible.
Should be Jeff Sessions, duh.
Oh.
But I honestly think that the only person that could beat Trump is Joe Biden because he has the Biden memes.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is that if Joe Biden does run, the goal of Fermenting Opinions, I'm stating it now, is to have a Joe Biden interview where I want an hour-and-a-half discussion with him about dank memes.
That would never happen.
Dank memes.
Yeah, if I feel like it might, and I'm holding out hope. I feel like he's such a good sport, and you would enjoy it.
Joe Biden for wasting his time with the interviewing people with
What's going to have to happen in the next couple of months, Bart, when he's deciding he's going to run? He can't do it later.
Currently, because I keep telling you this kind of thing, that Anthony Magnabosco is probably our biggest get in terms of notoriety.
Yeah.
Awesome dude. Joe Biden would be amazing. Would love to discuss how Uncle Joe is a fucking savage, but like
that's all.
I don't see that happen.
I mean, that's all it's gonna be is me being over here like you're a fucking savage, Joe. You're a savage.
So that's not gonna happen. Let's just be realistic.
He's also really cute.
I also feel like
even though he's old.
Yeah, hang on. I'm not going to get into that, but I will say that I feel like we might maybe if we could squeak by with like a 5-minute interview about me telling him he's a savage, I'd be happy. That's my.
You could try to photobomb him one time while yelling the word "savage."
I feel like
that is probably the most realistic.
All I feel like is that we all give our unrealistic expectations of what we're going to do at the beginning of the new year. Well, it's just after the election cycle. Fermenting Opinions' new goal is to at least have Joe Biden on for 5 minutes if he's running for president, so I can tell him that he's a fucking savage and I love his memes.
You should just write him a fan letter.
Amazing.
I mean, I'm gonna do that anyway. Come on.
We're trying to do a Space Force now because of Joe.
I'm just saying. I gotta.
But honestly, I think that there is something like very marketable and palatable about he has funny memes.
He's hilarious. Oh my God, the best thing about Trump winning was Joe Biden memes.
Seriously, that got me through like the
end of the year.
The Joe Biden memes were gold. I mean,
of like him leaving notes.
And he was like, I changed the Wi-Fi password to something in Spanish. That motherfucker will never know.
He's like talking or something. So
it's hilarious.
My phone keeps reminding me of pictures I've taken, and starting now I've been getting reminders of 2 years ago Joe Biden memes or whatever.
Yeah, well, how about he was on Jay Leno right after that too, and he was showing off his car collection because Joe Biden's always been a collector of American muscle cars and things like this. So he takes Jay Leno for a ride.
Of course he is, because he's
a bad motherfucker. He's what I consider a true American.
Hard to not like him, even though he's kind of an idiot.
Yeah, he is.
Well, so is George W. Bush, but hell, at this point, I would give my left nut to have George W. Bush be president again. George W. Bush was bad at handling rain, but he wasn't afraid of it. You know, that's all I'm saying.
He had a good strategic.
Yeah, I mean, I like George W.
He
Bush.
was the decider.
Good dude. Really questionable decisions as president occasionally, but I'll tell you what, good dude. I like him. Anyway, so he was with Jay Leno doing this muscle car thing, and he takes him out in this old 60s vet and just hits him on a back road and just like illegally cranks it and is running him like 120 miles an hour.
Oh my God.
Jay Leno's shitting his pants and Joe Biden's over here like, calm down. I've driven myself like 4 times in the last 8 years. I've been vice president. You know, like, I don't drive a car. And he's like, okay, you know, like
I feel like they could hear
that guy gets my vote. I like him.
Oh God!
I'll take that guy with
that dude's personal.
I'll take that guy over dude who got a bowling trophy during Vietnam. Like,
yeah, he's not only that, but he's like telling him to look at him. He's like, look out back. Secret Service is still chasing us.
I love not driving a car. There's I don't know.
I can't even get with
God, I wish I were not a poor, I guess.
Hours and hours and hours driving.
Didn't you say that the other day?
The fucking progressive liberals not a poor, and we are. I mean, that sucks. I have to drive a car everywhere I go. Shit, man.
I ride in a car.
I'm barely comprehending that.
Yeah, I know. No, I know.
I get it enough.
Yeah.
But I go to the same places with multiple people. A carpool.
Well, there you go. Because why don't we call it here? Guys, let's wrap it up. It's been a wonderful midterm hangover hangout.
Yeah.
That we've gone all the way around the world basically on this. From the Mushroom Kingdom to Uncle Joe.
And Uncle Joe and sweet Corvettes,
maybe some accountability in the meantime, and probably no impeachment.
I need my president to burn fucking rubber. That's all I'm saying.
Lay it down. But that's I think that's gonna be it for us guys.
Or both, whatever.
Stay tuned because we're gonna refocus moving forward. 2020 is eyes on the prize for us now. Everything we've done since beginning, basically, of Fermenting Opinions has been talking about what's going to happen in the midterms. Now we've got some accountability. Now we've got some balance of powers a little bit.
And here we are. We're still fanboying in 2018. We're over here. Roo-rah, whatever the fuck. We're
romanticizing 2016 Joe Biden memes.
I mean, we're really what we're all in is we're all in America. Always.
You know what? People still talk about Reagan. Okay, I
still like Reagan too. Reagan was a goddamn cowboy.
Like they wouldn't call him a rhino today.
Hey, you watch your damn mouth when you talk about Reagan now.
Thank you, Chris. Reagan will still outdraw your ass on screen and shoot everybody as long as he's got.
Thanks for having me. It was a fun talk.
Absolutely.
Yes, Chris and Jason, thank you for joining us too.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I know we ran our mouths extensively, but thank you for coming in and participating.
I hope y'all got some licks in.
It was fun for me. I enjoyed it. We're going to be back real soon, following up and seeing what's going to happen in the future.
Yes, indeed.
A lot of developments going on. I'm really interested in what's going to happen with the Mueller investigation moving forward.
Oh, yes.
And sort of the finalization of the Senate tally and the House as well, and what's going to happen with that. Really, not so much probably the rest of this month, but like next month in January, we're going to see big changes, I think, on the national level.
I don't think it's really going to be until January, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think the holidays are, in fact, going to slow it all down.
Yeah, and we'll probably not be, because we got Thanksgiving coming up. We probably don't have too much on the docket. We have an unreleased podcast episode, guys. We're waiting on approval for people because we're trying to be true to our word. We're not release things without consent, but we had a legislative director
for a certain area. Yeah.
Well, I won't say the name, but for the city of LA, and talking about how the sausage is made and how legislation in LA can impact the rest of the country ultimately. And that was a really interesting conversation. Hope we get to release that Maybe we don't. That's okay. We're going to be true to our word on that one.
Always.
But stay tuned in the meantime. We're on Facebook, group and page, Fermenting Opinions, YouTube channel by the same name. If you're watching right now, you're watching it on YouTube, Fermenting Opinions channel. Shout out to Ross James and James Media. And lots of side yelling.
What the hell?
I don't know what the hell that is. But Ross James, we love you, man. You're a digital wizard. You help make all this possible, make all the buttons and dials and knobs work, and that people actually watch us.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ross James. He does great work on his own. Check out his photography and his videos and stuff. It's good stuff. And for myself, I'm David Poiden.
I'm James McVeigh.
We're Fermenting Opinions. Thank you guys all for being here, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.